Hello and welcome back to today's video. We have been talking about working with the customer and job. We have created estimates. We've also created invoices. And now I want to take you through how to receive the payment so that they pay off those invoices. We are following the flow charts. We've estimated a job. We've created several invoices and now we're going to receive payments. Basically, by filling out this screen out, we are applying the payment to the invoice and it will show whether the invoice is paid or not by what watermark. The first thing it's going to ask, who is the money received from? Let's say it's from this customer. As soon as you pick your customer and job, you'll notice that it will show all of the open invoices, and down here, even if you own a penny, notice that it shows the original amount, the amount due, and the amount due may differ from the original. Now, the next thing up here is the payment amount. And you can see that way over here on the top right, it shows the total balance that the customer owes. Here is where you're going to put the actual amount they paid. I'm going to say they paid this amount because I want to show you what happens when it's over or under payment. The next thing you see here is the date of the payment. So I'm going to say it's December 31st. And because it automatically defaults to a check, it has a place for a check number. But if you click on cash, you will see it has a reference number. You can also use e-check, and under there's more. But if you want to add a new one, like if you want to say you want to add PayPal, then you could just add it there and click OK. So however the customer pays, it's okay. I'm gonna say a check and I'm going to make up a check number here. Now the other thing I want you to notice is that it assumes that the customer is paying all of the first one. Be very careful with this because the customer may have specified how to apply the payment, and if you don't specify, you and your customer could be sitting down to have a meeting. Notice you can check up this if you don't want them to apply to that. And also notice that you can check any of these, then you can type over here if that's the amount you want to pay. The customer just wanted to pay $1,100, but for now we are going to go ahead and apply it all down. Now if you're over or under, you can see this down here. This has an underpayment for 4 cents. I can leave it as an underpayment or write off the extra amount. I'm going to leave it for now because we are going to talk in a little bit about how to create a credit memo. So I will show you how to create something like that out. So here's a question: where does this payment go? Well, in a previous model, we had actually talked a little bit about this when we talked about the chart of accounts. And I was telling you that one of the accounts was called the undeposited account. I'm going to go back to home for a minute. And I want to go back to chart of accounts. And I want you to notice this chart of accounts here, undeposited fund. This is money that has been received but not yet taken to the bank. For example, I've got a check today. I put it in, but I haven't gone to the bank. Notice the amount which is there because as soon as we save our payment, that amount is going to go up. So now back to receive payments. Now before we save this, let's also point up a couple of things up here. Here's the way you're going to go next to previous. Before your payments, you're familiar with new, it's going to save this one you're on and create a blank payment. Here is a delete option if you want to delete this payment. You could print this. You could also email this. It's also strange how this opens, but you can do that. You can also attach a file if you need to. Notice here you can look up a customer invoice. Now, something I didn't mention is if you are down here and you want to look at any of these, you could just click it right here. Unapply payment basically means take the check ops. I'm gonna go ahead and put them back on for now. And then if you had a discount or credit, you could apply them here. There is also an option to record a bounce check. And also if you want credit card processing, they can sell it to you. We've got a tab called reports, and this will be all the reports related to payments. If you want to look at this by customer, by sales, by item, you can look at them from here. And then the payment tab itself also has an option to let you sign in for an intuit if you want. So most of the option will be under the main tab. I'm going to go ahead and save and close, and I'll show you a couple of things that happen. Number one, look at the amount of money in the deposited fund. I will show you how to take that out. The other thing is, do you remember when we look at a report where I showed you about the invoices? The only thing opened right here is the 4 cent for a customer. That's it. So the other thing I did want to point out, there was an option that I asked you that where did the money just go? So let's just go back to preference for a minute. I'm going to edit preferences. There was this preferences that I pointed out under payments, company preferences, just right here. Use undeposited funds as a default deposit to account. That's why when we saved and closed, our money went to the undeposited fund. Notice I'm gonna check this off. I'm going to click OK. So I'm gonna click OK. Now I'm gonna go back to home because here is what I want to do. I want to get back to that payment, and the best way to do that is to go to the customer center and find it in the list. There it is there. I'm going to click on that payment. Here is what's different this time. Now I have a choice as to where I'd love to put the money. If you get really confused with this, don't worry about it. You can just not use this, but the next thing we'll be doing in section 6 is creating deposit, where we'll be putting the money off undeposited fund and putting it to the bank. I could have skipped that whole process by checking on this list. This has to be the only thing that's in the undeposited. If I had to have another check from a customer, I will have to also create a deposit for that. I'm gonna go ahead and put it back on undeposited fund for now because I want to go through and show you how to create a deposit, which is the next section. So let's go ahead through this. I want you to go ahead through the next step with me, and I'll show you how to create deposits.